Good evening, everybody. This is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates coming to you live from the Crossroads of the West in Salt Lake City, Utah. The time right now is 7:03 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Sunday, January 12th. Folks, we've made it all the way to the middle of the crazy month. We're already into mid-January. Can't believe it. Don't believe it. It's been a tough road to hoe since we first started doing this show and since we found out what was happening with Cascadia. We have some serious issues to still deal with. We have some serious issues to still talk about. We want to welcome everybody here that's live here in our chat room this evening, whether you are on the Freedom Revolution Network, which we are simulcasting tonight with the Freedom Revolution Network. We will be there tomorrow night live, and we'll be putting this video that we do tomorrow up on YouTube after the fact. So just to give you an idea, everybody here on YouTube, if you're tuning into YouTube, please be advised. You need to go over to the freedomrevolutionnetwork.com, go over to the show or the page, Freedom Revolution Network. At the top of the page, you're going to see the, at the top of the page, in fact, let me show you what you're going to see when you get to the top of the page. I have it right here, right smack dab in front of me. I have it right here. I'm going to just double check to make sure you can see it. Okay, you can see it. Right here, the Freedom Revolution Network. When you get there, go to FRN Radio. Hover over that. You're going to see EMA Radio Video. Click on that. When you click on EMA Radio Video, you're going to come to this page, our Emergency Management Associates page. When you get there, put in your email. It says enter your email for the EMA newsletter and alerts. Put your email in there. Click on subscribe. At that point, you're going to have a choice. Click on the left choice, which will be go back to the previous page, which is this show page. When you get to this show page, you're going to come back and you're going to see our show. Right now we are live on the air. All you have to do is click live on the air and you'll come to our show. Over here, just below that, you're going to see our live chat room, our 24/7 live chat room. Okay? That's what you're going to see. I'm sorry. Let me show it to you again. I had it a little low. You're going to come to our show page and you're going to see our live chat room by scrolling down just a short distance. Again, I'm sorry. Let me bring it back here. There it is right there. Right there. So that's where you're going to see our chat room. That's where you're going to see our videos from now on. Okay? I want to make sure that you're here with us. It's very important that we see and you see us here and our show live. We want to make sure you can see that. As you already know, we put forth a lot of special information that nobody can get anywhere else. Michelle, I'm sorry you're buffering. If you folks are being buffered on YouTube, you can go out and come back in. That usually ends the buffering. And I'm sorry. I will be very careful as to how I say things tonight while we're on our show. Certain words are censored by AI. And they will censor entire parts of our program if I say those words. And I will be very careful on what I do tonight to make sure that you get the information and have the best show possible. One of the other things too, tonight I spoke a little bit earlier with 4patriotfoods.com. 4patriotfoods.com. I will be hopefully very shortly using them as a sponsor of our show. I spoke to a gal there, and I want to tell you who she is. Her name is Arlene at 4patriotfoods.com. You can call her. Her number is 800-728-4202 or 800-728-0008. Ask for Arlene. She is the one that fulfilled my order today, and I've ordered some more 72-hour food packages, and they will come to you within the next 7 to 10 days, and they are very, very good food. They are breakfast, lunches, and dinners for 72 hours. They're all packaged in a nice package. You can also order 6 months and full 1 year supplies of food through 4 Patriots. It's very nutritious, it's tasty, and it will please your family. So 4patriotfoods.com. I just gave them a free plug. I am not sponsored by them as yet, but hopefully in the coming days we will have them as a sponsor on our show. Just so you know. Now, I want to talk to you about several things that have happened in the last 24 hours, well, actually 22 hours since you last heard from us. And it's actually been less than that because we got off the show. We had a long show yesterday. We're on until 11 o'clock last night. Let me tell you where we went and what has been going on. After Terry and I got off the show last night, we talked for about 30 or 40 more minutes. Then he called me back with some important information that we have. Now that's as far as I'm going to go with that information at present time. But be advised, there are people that monitor our program that have given us specific information about what is going on. Terry and I now have that. We are not going to divulge who gave it to us, and we're not going to divulge the information we have at this present time. But you need to know that it is important information. It is important information. Other than that, last night before I went to bed, about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was, and then I got up again at 2. But at that point in time when I went to bed last night, I was told, I got memos last night that a volcano in the Philippines would possibly be erupting very soon. There was an advisory that was given. I took that advisory and kept it in my mind, knowing that we would probably be talking about a volcano in the Philippines. Chris is saying that Mount Taal, T-A-A-L, Mount Taal, T-A-A-L, was about to erupt. That is the information I got last night. Folks, that volcano did erupt during the night. Early this morning, it was mid-afternoon Philippine time, mid-Sunday afternoon Philippine time, and it did erupt up to 55,000 feet. A 55,000-foot eruption from Mount Taal in the Philippines, not far from Luzon, Philippines. Okay, not far from Luzon, Philippines. Now, I'm going to show you some pictures. Well, before I show you the pictures, I'm going to read you an important announcement here. It is a fair use document. It is mandated by law in order to give you information and show you pictures. In good faith, this work contains fair use of copyrighted and non-copyrighted images from the public domain and the web for non-commercial and non-profit educational purposes. This work is distributed free of charge. The author has neither monetized work nor sought any profit from its distribution. This work is distributed free of charge by Emergency Management Associates. Ron Tyler, the author, has neither monetized this work nor sought any profit from its distribution. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyrighted Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. This Emergency Management Associates program is produced for educational and reporting uses only. With that said, let me show you some pictures. These pictures are going to probably blow your minds. This volcano erupted last in 1977, approximately 43 years ago. I'm going to show you this. Look at this volcanic eruption. In this picture, you see the eruption going on, and not just that, you see lightning. Okay, you see the eruption going on here in the background, coming from the island where the volcano is, Mount Taal, T-A-A-L, and you see lightning. Okay, I have now seen a video that I wish I could share with you, but I can't. I'm not being allowed to show you this. Okay, but that's just one picture. This is the other picture of this eruption. Okay, let me see if I can tone down the light on this. Yes, I can. Now you can see it pretty well. This is the eruption from Mount Taal, T-A-A-L, a 55,000-foot eruption, a very powerful eruption over in the Philippines today. Now, I will tell you, people have been evacuated from that island and from surrounding areas. I need to also tell you that Manila, Philippines has been covered in ash. Manila, Philippines has been covered in ash. There are people there that are suffering from breathing disorders, and their skin is burning, and I believe that's from the chemicals in the ash, and it's also from glass particles that are in the ash. Okay? There are tiny pieces of glass mixed in with this ash. And once they get embedded in the skin, they can irritate your skin. Okay? You need to be aware of that. You need to be aware of that. Why? Because we are going to soon get hit with volcanoes, and we're going to have to deal with ash and possibly molten lava and lahars, as you already know. Excuse me. In the past months and weeks and days, and Manila Airport is also closed, okay? The smell of sulfur is very, very bad. As you know, with the ash cloud, you can get toxic gases, including SO2, which is a derivative of sulfur, a heavy smell of sulfur, an acidic smell, which can harm you. If it is really bad, you have to wear a breathing apparatus. A breathing apparatus. We spoke about that a while back. I showed you the complete face mask that we have here for members of our family. Okay? Those people are probably best served by having full face masks. Full face masks. A minimum would be what they call an N95 mask. And you can buy those on Amazon. You can also get those on Wish.com. And they're not that expensive. You can also get them at pharmacies. You can also buy them at Home Depot. You can also buy them at Walmart. And they're not expensive. Okay? Angelina wants to know what states we are from. You guys, she's probably talking to you guys. I'm living in the state of Utah. I've lived in several states. Okay? I'm in Utah at present time. Anyway, I'm just wanting to tell you what is going on so that you can be aware of it. We have been talking quite a bit about earthquakes. We've been talking about tornadoes. We have been talking about volcanoes. And we've been talking specifically about Cascadia. By the way, George, I did get your message on Facebook, and I have the information. I appreciate it. Thank you. Anyway, please, everyone, while I'm still in the beginning of the program, I want to urge you to hit the thumbs up button. At present time, we have 216 people in the chat room. I know there's people out there in the broadcast with us that are lurking. They're lurking, as I call it. Please hit that thumbs up if you enjoy our program and what we're doing here. Why do we hit the thumbs up? I didn't realize how important it was until a few weeks ago. Hitting the thumbs up is very important because it puts us in a higher ranking on Facebook, so they will share our video with more and more people. They will share our video with more and more people. Our video here, our message on video and radio, is vitally important to save people's lives. So we want to make sure that we get our message across in the best possible way that we can. We have people in our chat room. We have people that are here that are members of our program that live in the Cascadia region. I was just contacted by very dear family members, and I call them family members, although we're not related by blood. I love these people very, very dearly. And they live in Washington State. And they're going to be affected by Cascadia. I want to tell you all, whether you're in Washington, Oregon, whether you're in Vancouver, whether you're on Vancouver Island, anywhere in British Columbia, anywhere in Oregon, anywhere in California, be advised, Cascadia is going to come. And it's going to come fairly quick. It's going to come fairly quickly. We're talking about days or maybe 2 weeks. Okay? It's coming. I want all of you to be prepared. As Terry Rempel and I, Terry lives in Vancouver, Canada, on Vancouver Island. I've had him on the show many, many times now for at least 2 months. And you can go back into November on Mondays and Thursdays and watch our shows from back in November. And you're going to completely understand what we are talking about. Terry and I have been very explicit in what is going on. I'm going to be very explicit tonight again. When the Cascadia hits in the northern part of Washington and southern Canada, this earthquake could be as light as a 9.5 magnitude earthquake. And by light, I'm not talking less than dangerous. I'm talking very dangerous. Finest Planet, I didn't know Spammy was blocked. I will look into it. Anyway, when the Cascadia earthquake hits, it can be anywhere from 9.5 to 12.0 magnitude earthquake. The most powerful earthquake that anybody has ever seen in the world. Nobody has ever seen a 9.5, a 10, 11, or a 12. The information that Terry and I have compiled tells us that this earthquake is going to be very, very powerful and very, very dangerous. I'm not going to mince words. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be accompanied 15 to 20 minutes later by a 100 to 150 foot tidal wave, a tsunami, within 15 to 20 minutes after the initial quake. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Some people in the past have asked how far the tsunami, the water, will reach. The water is going to reach miles, not feet. It's going to be miles. When there's hills, it's going to go faster through those hills, between the hills. Anytime you have a tunnel, whether it's water or wind, when the air goes through that tunnel or water goes through that tunnel, it goes faster. The water is going to go everywhere. In areas where we have rivers, it's going to swamp the rivers. If the earthquake hasn't knocked down the bridges, the tidal wave likely will. If you plan on getting out of the earthquake area, good luck. Once the earthquake hits, bridges and roads will be badly damaged. Roads may be interrupted by fissures that have encompassed the entire roadway, where you won't be able to pass them with a normal vehicle. Bridges will be knocked out. So if you're on a bridge, good luck. If you're trying to cross that bridge, you're not going to get across. If it's crossing a river, you're not going to cross the river. True story. True story. Now, I know that this is going to be terrible. I know that. And I'm not mincing words. I'm not mincing words. If you don't have a bicycle, meaning a mountain bike, a four-wheel drive vehicle, a gator, you're not going to be able to get through. And you probably won't be able to get through anyway if the bridges are down, which they probably will be. Okay? I hate being this honest, but I'm not going to mince words about it. You need to be aware of what's going on. You need to know what's going on. Now, when that earthquake hits, besides the earthquake hitting the Vancouver, Northwest Washington, and Oregon area, the seismic energy is going to go north, up possibly even towards Alaska again. The energy is coming from Alaska. It's coming down the west coast of the continent, the North American continent. And that's, right now we have a lot of energy locked up in the Cascadia region and over in California along the San Andreas Fault. A ton of energy. But when this earthquake hits, it's going to be so powerful, it will probably be felt up into Alaska, most of the west coast of Canada, all the way down through California. Why? Cascadia will probably trigger the San Andreas Fault. When the earthquake hits California, it's probably going to hit California to the tune of 5.0 magnitude. 5.0 magnitude. That's powerful. If any of you have watched the movies, there's a movie called 10.0 that talks about, and the whole premise of the movie is a 10.0 earthquake. That the scientists had said there would be a 10.0 earthquake. That's the premise of the movie. And they try to stop it by nuking various parts of the San Andreas Fault, which doesn't totally stop it. That 10.0 earthquake is what is going to be felt in California. By the time this earthquake hits San Diego, San Diego's probably going to feel it as a 6.0 to a 7.0 earthquake. Now, I've talked to a lot of people. I've talked to people that live in California, all points of California, north to south, east to west. The lady I spoke to just about 45 minutes to an hour ago used to live out towards Victorville in the San Bernardino area. And that area is going to be destroyed. That area is going to be destroyed, as most of California will. As Terry said last night, we don't think there's any safe area in California. Okay, that's the long and the short of it. Anna, Lily's mom, said, I do not feel that taunting people with information that could affect them is just wrong. I don't think you should have said anything about it at all. If that's referring to my initial statement about information that Terry and I had, that information will not be affecting you directly. It actually probably already has. But Terry and I are holding on to some information that we just got. But that shouldn't frighten you. That should not frighten you. I just wanted to let you know what happened last night after we got off the air. But what is going on and what is going to happen is a completely different thing. Everyone needs to know what is going on. And that's why I'm recovering it right now. You all need to know what is going on. I don't want to hide anything from you. Regarding the Cascadia earthquake and the subsequent quakes that will follow, it's not just the west coast of California. Okay? The entire country, the United States of America, and Canada will feel the brunt of this earthquake in one way, shape, or form. I promise you that. I promise you that. Those of you that are east of these three states, Washington, Oregon, and California, you are going to feel the wrath of this earthquake in one way, shape, or form. The further away you are from the earthquake epicenter will depend on how strong you're going to feel the quake. People east in eastern Washington will probably feel the brunt of that quake. Up in Idaho, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, you guys are going to feel it as well. And I'm talking about probably a 9 or a 7 to an 8 magnitude quake field. You guys are going to be closest to the epicenter of these quakes. You need to be aware of what is going on and what is going to happen. The further away you are from the epicenter, the less of an earthquake that you're going to feel. But again, I am telling you, I'm advising you that you're going to feel the earthquake. It's going to affect entire countries. Canada, the United States, and probably down into Mexico. Please hit the thumbs up button. It's just right below this video that you're watching right now. We have 292 people in the chat room, have 168 thumbs up. Please do that. Thank you very much. Also, we will probably have some volcanoes here to boot. In recent weeks and months, Terry and I have talked about 12 volcanoes in the Cascadia Range, including as far south of Northern California in the Shasta, Mount Lassen area. We cannot discount Mammoth Mountain from erupting as well. Mammoth Mountain has had some steaming episodes, and they've been hit with earthquakes almost every day since last year, since the middle part of 2019. The volcanoes in Washington State, Oregon, and Mount Shasta have been steaming. Okay? I have pictures of Mount Rainier steaming. I have pictures of Mount Hood steaming. I have pictures of Mount Baker, Mount St. Helens, and other mountains steaming. Sayak's volcano on Vancouver Island has been steaming. There's been 7 volcanoes from Mount Hood north up into Washington State that have been steaming. Some of them are even bulging, including Mount Shasta in California. If you think I'm wrong, go check it. Check the information yourselves. It's there. If you can't find it, I'll send it to you. But I am very serious about what I'm saying. Again, I want to welcome everybody that's joining us, that have come here from other channels and come here from other people that have told them about us. We appreciate you being here tonight. I appreciate my friend Arlene from For Patriots Food that is joining us here tonight watching our program. We appreciate it. Sayax is in British Columbia. You're right, Kimberly. But Sayax has also been steaming. Those people that want information and want to see those pictures, email me, please. The EMA show at freedomrevolution.com, actually freedomrevolutionnetwork.com, or emergencymanagementassociates at gmail.com. I will make sure I return every email that I get, and I do. If you request information or ask questions, I always get back with you. Sayax steaming in Mount Shasta, yes, Miss Wabi. They are steaming. Even as late as this week, they've been steaming. Boulder Buoy, yes, Valdivia, Chile earthquake was a 9.5 and had a tsunami to boot. Absolutely. Okay? They're all part of this, folks. I kid you not. I'm a space cadet too. Says I'm trying to figure out in my head how it works. I'm telling you how it works. We have seismic energy coming down out of Alaska, Where did Alaska get it? Alaska got it from the west coast of the Pacific Ocean, meaning Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia. Where did they get it? They got it from Japan. Where did Japan get it? They got it from Indonesia. Where did Indonesia get it? They got it from the South Pacific, down around Tonga, Fiji, and New Zealand. Why? As I've explained in past shows, down in the South Pacific is where earthquakes originate. All, I repeat, all earthquakes originate from the South Pacific. Why? Because that is where the deep earthquakes come from. Occasionally there will be a deep earthquake in Indonesia or Japan or Chile or Australia or Argentina. Occasionally there will be a deep earthquake there. Hold on just a second. Mandy is asking a question. Ron, will there be a notification from Freedom Revolution Network tomorrow when I go on the air? Yes. And also about if there's something that happens, how will we be notified? Freedom Revolution Network will notify you on my behalf. I will go on the air and let you know. You will get a notification when I go on the air. Once you put in your email, you will get a notification. You'll also be able to have access to our newsletter, as I stated before. Anyway, getting back to the deep earthquakes. Deep earthquakes are responsible for shallower and more powerful earthquakes. For example, down in the south of Fiji yesterday, there was a 4.8 magnitude earthquake. It was 587 kilometers deep, approximately 350 miles deep into the earth. That is down into what we call the asthenosphere, where the magma is. Deep earthquakes spawn shallower, stronger earthquakes. In this case, from yesterday's earthquake. This earthquake that we had yesterday in south of Fiji, 4.8, is going to spawn a 6.0 to 6.2 magnitude earthquake. Okay? That's what is going on. Where will this 6.0 to 6.2 magnitude earthquake happen? Within 72, I believe within 72 hours to 7 days, 3 to 7 days, there will be a stronger earthquake. There will be a stronger earthquake. Where will it happen? Last night, we had a 5.1 magnitude earthquake over in Vanuatu. In fact, there were two earthquakes. There was a 5.0 and a 5.1 magnitude earthquake in Vanuatu. Two different areas in Vanuatu. Okay? What happened? There is a fulcrum point, a middle point between the South Fiji earthquake and Vanuatu, where this earthquake is going to happen, this 6.2. Somewhere in between those two places, there will be a 6.0 to 6.2 earthquake. Yes, it is possible that this larger earthquake could go east towards South America. Easter Island, Chile, or Argentina could get this earthquake. That is possible. It could also go down into New Zealand. New Zealand has been known to have large earthquakes as well. And we have had large earthquakes in New Zealand yesterday, the day before, and all this last week, and weeks before. Okay? But what happens with this large seismic energy? It doesn't die once it happens. It continues to move. These earthquakes move east, west, and south, and north. As it moves east, the strong earthquake energy will go through Indonesia, up through the Philippines, up even through Taiwan, up through Japan, and I'm talking the western part of the Pacific Ocean, the continents over there, the land masses over there on the western side of the Pacific. Goes over through Japan. It proceeds up through the Kuril Islands just south of Russia and north of Japan. It proceeds up towards Kamchatka, Russia. Then it goes over to the Aleutian Island chain, at which point the Aleutian Island chain picks it up and takes that earthquake energy over into Alaska. Now, I'm going to show you that part. I have a map. I have a lot of maps. I'm going to show you how that works. Okay? If you'll just bear with me for a minute. I'm having some issues here. I had some issues with this map yesterday, and it's still giving me some issues now. I overcame those issues yesterday, and I think I'm going to overcome them now. I just did. Okay, I'm going to show you this map. Okay. First off, I'm going to show you the South Pacific. Down here is New Zealand. This is Fiji. Over here is Indonesia. Actually, Papua New Guinea's right there. You can see a large earthquake that happened today in Papua New Guinea. The earthquake energy travels through from Papua New Guinea here, through Indonesia, goes up into the Philippines, and up into Japan. That's how it works. It goes up into Japan and proceeds going straight up into Kamchatka, Russia, as you see this earthquake there. As you can see, this red earthquake fault right here is called the Aleutian Islands. We have two earthquakes there. These are two moderate 4.0 and above earthquakes. East of there is Alaska. Earthquakes go down into Alaska, or go up into Alaska. And we have quite a few earthquakes, as you can see, in Alaska. When they come out of Alaska, they go right down the coast, west coast of North America, Canada, and the United States. That is what we're talking about when we're talking about the Cascadia earthquake. It's going to occur up in northwestern Washington and Vancouver, Canada, this area here. That's where Cascadia is going to hit first. The energy is going to go right down through Oregon, into California, and possibly into northern Mexico. It's going to go across the entire United States. The entire United States. And Canada. Okay? You need to be aware of it. Okay? Now, the show 10.5, TBYRD 54 says show is 10.5. It may be 10.5. I thought it was 10.0. Could be 10.5. Yeah, you're right. Okay? So, anyway, that show, you can't totally trust Hollywood. They take it and tell you what might happen. Yeah, it could happen. But what Terry and I have been explaining during the past couple months is that when Cascadia hits, the information that we have compiled is that it could go upwards of a 12.0 in Cascadia, which will trigger the San Andreas Fault, which could result in upwards of 10.0 magnitude force in California. And that force, at some point, is going to go through the entire United States, but it's going to get smaller as it goes through the entire continent, Canada and the U.S. Okay? The strength is going to get smaller as it goes away from the epicenter of the earthquake. So, what we are saying is everyone needs to prepare. Everybody needs to prepare. We have emergency preparedness specialists with us tonight. My dear friend and sister, I call her my sister because indeed she is. I love her and her husband just as much as I love my blood family. They're here with us. They're emergency preparedness specialists. There are quite a few preparedness specialists with us. We have preparedness specialists all over the United States that are with us tonight and have been with us before. Okay? I want to welcome my friend TLO from Minneapolis. He's here today. Thank you for being here, brother. I hope you're all right now. TLO, as everybody else, has been sick too. But TLO is a wonderful guy. I really appreciate him. I appreciate all of you. Okay, anyway, to make a long story short, everybody needs to prepare. Okay, whether it's the volcanoes that are going to go off, which they will. I believe at least one volcano will go off. Christian is a preparedness specialist according to the government, and that's great. Christian, you're awesome. I really appreciate you, brother. I would love to sit down and talk with you. Pick your brain, and you could pick mine. But folks, we have some issues that we're going to face. And it doesn't matter where we're going to live, where we are living or where we're going to live. It matters that this is a survivable earthquake. It doesn't matter whether it's a 12.0 or not. This is a survivable earthquake. And I believe it is. Terry believes it is as well. But you have to be prepared. Folks, we have 308 people in chat. We have 233 thumbs up. Let's raise that up, folks, please. We want to get this message out as long as possible and as far as possible. Mom's Pennies, chat is working. Chat is working. Earlier this afternoon, we had 239 people in chat. We have a 24/7 chat. Okay? But we have to be prepared, like I said. What are you doing to get prepared? I see some people here have been talking about preparedness and things that they want to do to become prepared, things that they have already done to become prepared. Gas masks, N39 masks. Have you got an emergency preparedness plan? I stress emergency preparedness plans. Why? Why do I stress that? George asked, where is what at? He says, where is that at, Ron? I want to know where that is. Okay? Tell me what you're talking about and I'll tell you. Please. And I don't mean to be flippant. I don't mean to be flippant at all. Please be specific and I'll let you know. Get an emergency preparedness plan. Write it all down. I keep talking about emergency preparedness plans. It's very important. I have a book here, and I'm not peddling my book necessarily, but I want to tell you about this book. The first part of the book talks nothing but emergency preparedness plans, what to include in your emergency preparedness plans. The second part of the book is emergency first aid. Emergency first aid. You need this book. You need the information in this book. Okay? Why are we pushing this book? Yes, I can sell it to you for $20, which includes shipping and handling. Not a problem. Not a problem. I have about 10 or 12 of them left. If you want these books, go to our PayPal here and send us that money. Send it to our P.O. Box, which is right here. P.O. Box 526, Sandy, S-A-N-D-Y, Utah, 84091. And yes, the information is correct. You can also send money through Freedom Revolution Network and earmark it to either EMA or put my name down, and I'll get it. If you send money through YouTube, I will only get about 47% of it, unfortunately. And I get it once a month. I get it once a month. Now, if you do it through PayPal, I'll get it immediately within 24 hours. If you send it through the mail to me to the P.O. Box, I will get it and I'll send you your book. Regardless, write an emergency preparedness plan. Whether you decide to shelter in, meaning you stay in your home, or you decide to bug out. Okay? And I'm talking from the time something happens. Put that into your emergency preparedness plan. And make sure every member of your family is included in that plan. What you plan to do. How you plan to help your family. Including your pets, who are members of your family as well. Do not leave your pets behind. In most states now here in the United States, and probably the same in Canada, if you leave your pet behind, you will go to jail. Immediately to jail. You don't pass go. You don't collect $200. I kid you not. You will go to jail. Do not leave your pets behind and tied up and expected to fare on their own. It doesn't work that way. I could tell you horror stories of things that I've read about and things that I personally have seen. as an emergency manager, I have specialized in emergencies with animals, farm animals, pets, house animals, whatever it is. I specialized in it. I've taken specialized training. You can now go to shelters with your pets. Okay? Make sure you have leashes. Make sure the shots are up to date. Make sure they have a license, a city, town, and license. Sometimes the towns and cities require licenses to have your pets. Make sure all the records are together, and you can bring your pet to a shelter. Don't leave your pets behind, please. You'd make me cry if I find out about it. Your kitties, your dogs, your ferrets, your goats, your pigs, your guinea pigs, whatever, rabbits, whatever it is, don't leave them behind. Make sure that each member of your family has an emergency preparedness kit. Your children and your pets. Make sure you have plenty of water and food for each member of your family. Anywhere from 1 to 3 gallons per person per day. If your pets are big enough, they could carry their own preparedness kit, except for maybe water. Okay? And pick up bags for their excrement. Absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to see me cry, folks. Please, you don't want to see me cry. I do enough of that anyway. Okay? Make sure your plans include what you plan on doing when the disaster hits and what you plan on doing after it hits. What are you going to do? How are you going to prepare your home? How are you going to prepare your car? What food sources are you going to have? What sort of water sources are you going to have? What activities are you going to keep your children involved with so you don't get them worried and scared? And believe me, they will be scared. They will be scared. Please, I beg of you, take care of your children as you would take care of me. Take care of your dogs and pets. Doesn't matter whether dogs, kitties, ferrets, pigs, whatever. Make sure you take care of them as well as you take care of me. With your children, make sure they have books to read, puzzles. They don't have to be big. They can be small. And some kids can even have their own backpack with these activities and treats. Don't forget treats, even for your pets. Okay? Include your plans to take care of your entire family, every member of your family. Okay? Why do you want a backpack for your kids? Their own preparedness kit that they personally can carry? It will give them something to do, to make them feel important, because indeed they are. And your animals could carry their own backpack, and you could exercise. You can drill with them. What do I mean by exercise and drill? You should, as part of your emergency plan, once you have it written, drill with it. Have a drill with your kids and your wife, your spouse, and your pets. Make them part of it. That way they all know how to deal with it, how to deal with emergencies. If you plan on tenting, if you can't stay in your house and you plan on tenting, and it's too cold to set up a tent outside, You can set up a tent in your front room. Move your furniture out of the way and set up a tent in your front room. If you don't have room for a tent, build it out of blankets and pretend you're camping with your children and your pets. 1, they will love it because it's different. 2, they will love it because it's exciting. 3, because you're with them and you're doing something with them. And they have their own preparedness kit. Okay? This is what you need to do. Exercise your plan. Work your plan and exercise your plan. You should have tarps in case we have a radiological issue. Your tarps and duct tape to cover your windows and your doors to make sure radiation doesn't get in your home. And cover the front of your fireplace with the same. That way it doesn't come down your flue and into your fireplace. Okay? You need to think about all these things. Snacks, flashlights, a fun game, a toy, a comfortable blankie. My 2 dogs love their toys. We might be taking a couple of toys for each of them to play with them. But again, leashes for your pets. But make sure you include your animals and your children. And in some cases, we have both. Okay? Hold on a second, I'm making some notes. Okay, thank you. Include all of these things. If you have to evacuate your home during an emergency, which could be a fire, for example, exercise that as part of your emergency plan. Make that all-encompassing, an all-encompassing emergency plan. Okay? It would help you to make sure you have everything written down. During an emergency, you're not going to remember everything. Write it down. When it comes to kits, make sure you have all of your insurance information, your property information. Make sure before the incident happens, you have photographed everything of importance in your home in case you have insurance that might be able to cover your losses or even a portion of your losses. That way it's all documented. Document everything. Keep copies of all of your paperwork, your insurance, your car insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your tax liabilities. Make sure your birth certificates and shot records, personal and animal shot records, are up to date. Okay? Make sure you have all of this and put it in a baggie. I had a baggie here, but it somewhere disappeared, and that's all right. You can get those large sealable bags at the store. They're about like this. Put them in there, and they're resealable. Okay? All of that in there. As part of your kit, make sure you have cash, not checks, not credit cards. You can carry your credit cards in your wallets, but in your emergency preparedness kit, Make sure you have a bag that has cash in it and nothing larger than a $20 bill. I would not even carry a $20 bill. The largest bill I would carry would be a $10 bill. Most places that you would come to are not going to be able to cash a $20 bill. Many places will be without electricity. Most of their cash registers will not work. They won't have access to their banks. They have a safe beneath cash registers sometimes in some places. Because it's all controlled by electronics, no one is going to have access to that safe. The smaller bills you have, the better off you are. And even coin. Keep it all in a bag in your emergency preparedness kit. Okay? Make sure you have food. In the beginning part of my program tonight, not my program, our program, we talked about 4 Patriots. Whether you go with 4 Patriots or not, you should have food with you to feed you and your family for at least 72 hours, if not 6 months. 4patriots.com. I love their product. I've got it. We use it. We have it. And we're going to be getting more. Now, you can get any food you want. Whatever you do, make sure you can carry it. Okay? Make sure you can carry it. Or if you plan on sheltering in, make sure it's going to be accessible to you. Okay? There are people that say and have told me, I live in a small, tiny apartment. I don't have a place to put it. Yeah, you do. Put it behind your couch. Put it underneath your bed. Put it in the corner, behind a lamp, behind a nightstand, behind a table next to your couch. Or make your food storage part of your furniture. You can go to Home Depot and buy a small round piece of wood. It can be however small you want it, that table to be. And you can go to Walmart and buy a piece of material to drape over that table, to put the lamp on. Underneath that piece of wood can be your food storage. So you can use your food storage in that piece of wood as a table lamp, or a table for your lamp. You're hiding your food storage. You're making your room look good because you covered up your food storage with a really nice looking piece of cloth, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You can do it. For Patriots, if you buy a 6-month supply of food, or even a larger supply than that, it comes in a nice little tote. You can use that tote as a table. Put a nice cloth over the top of it, and you got yourself a table. Bingo! You have places you can use to store your emergency supplies, your food storage. Okay? If you don't have a place for water and can't buy water, start putting it away in empty 2-liter bottles that you buy soda pop in. Soda drinks. You wash those out really good and use those. Whatever you do, do not use milk bottles. Do not use gallon milk jugs. No matter how well you clean it out, bacteria from the milk will still be there. and it can contaminate your water. Don't do it. You'll get sick. Deathly ill. Okay? We buy water here like it's going out of style. Every time we go to Costco, we buy 4 cases of water and stack it up. Okay? We stack it up here. Michael Swazi says, talk to my daughter up near Olympia, Washington, that for 4 magnitude hits in the next couple of days, snow is and will totally stop travel between her and escape routes going east. Sucks to worry, so prayers. Absolutely, I understand that. I understand that. I'm praying it's not going to happen. It will. I'm praying that the Lord will delay it. I think that's the only thing at this point we can do. Okay? Deb Rock says stack totes in the closet. You can do that. There are many places you can hide your food preparedness food. Okay? Tea bottles might work as well. Okay? One of our George Mitchell says, what about tea bottles? Will they work? Possibly. Wash them out really well. Don't use milk. Don't use the milk jug. Okay? I will give you a hint. If you have a Coca-Cola bottling company in your area, they use 50-gallon drums of syrup to make Coke or make other soft drinks. I don't know what they cost now. I used to get them for $2 a piece. I used to get those big blue plastic drums that they had soda syrup in. And I'd wash them out and use them to put water in. And I got 2x4s and made cradles for those water drums. One, to keep them off the ground. I don't want to have bugs in the bottom of my water bottle or my water drum. No, the bugs probably won't get in my drum, but I don't want to have to deal with it. I put them up in with cross braces made with 2x4s. At the bottom of the cross, I put a length of lumber, another 2x4 to strengthen it. Okay? Then I have another cross member on the other side of that 50-gallon drum. I have 2 X's basically, with a cross member going across the bottom. So the X won't come apart as soon as I put the drum on it. Okay? The X is held together with a cross member at the bottom, just like this. Okay? I keep it that way. Keep them up off the ground. On each end. On each end. There's your drum. On either end, I put a water spigot on one, a regular water spigot on one side, and I put it on the bottom of the drum right in here. And on the other side, I use a, now I can't remember what it's called. It's a hookup for a hose. Okay? A hookup for a hose that you can screw a hose onto. Okay? The other side, the hose is going to go to your spigot at the house. Okay? So you have water going from the top of the house to the top of the barrel here, filling your water barrel. When you want to water your grass, you hook up another hose to this side, and you can turn the water on and water your grass. Your barrel will constantly have 50 gallons of water in it because it's always hooked up to the house. In an emergency, if you have a water emergency where they shut off your water, or you have a purification problem with your city, turn off the spigot at the house. That way your pure water is in your 50-gallon barrel. Now, you can also hook up multiple barrels to each other with small lengths of hose. 2, 3, 4 barrels of 50-gallon barrels of water. And it's always hooked up to the house. It's always pressurized where you're going to have usable water to water your lawn, your vegetable garden, or whatever you have. I understand with Cascadia, we're not going to have a problem with a garden. You're not going to have time between now and Cascadia. I'm telling you, this is a way to store water. Whether you live in Cascadia or not, this is a way to store water and to be able to use it. I've done it. Angelina says water barrel gravity fed high. Great idea, Ron. I was told about that a long time ago, a lot of years ago. I've done it. Angelina, Roxy, it works. Okay? If you can't do that, stock up on water almost any way you can other than using milk jugs. Do not do that. Okay? Yes, Dunkin' Donuts will sell you buckets that they buy their icing in, and they'll sell them for cheap. You can also get food-grade buckets from different stores here in the Salt Lake, Utah area. You can go to stores and buy buckets, food-grade buckets with lids for those buckets. Okay, we put all of our flour, our sugar, our rice, our oatmeal, and I don't know what else, beans and such. We put them in these 5-gallon buckets, but we have them put in plastic bags. Okay? And we seal those with nitrogen. Before we put the lid on, we put nitrogen in to kill any possible bugs that might be in there. Wheat is the same thing. If you have store wheat, do the same thing. And you'll always have good food to eat. Okay? That's the proper way to do it. That's a proper way to do it. Now, I know we have earthquakes that are going on right now. We can talk about that. We can talk about the tall volcano. That's not the only earthquake, or not the only volcano going. Let me tell you about the volcanoes that are going right now. We have Stromboli and Etna in Italy, Sicily area, southern Italy and Sicily. That's 2. We have Ducono. We have Corinci. I can't remember. There's one other volcano over in Italy, in Indonesia, that is going off too. There's 3 of them in Indonesia, so that's 5. We have 3 volcanoes over in Japan right now. Kuchirobu Ajima. Kuchirobu Ajima volcano in Japan. Asosan in Japan. And Sakurajima. All 3 of these volcanoes are in the same location, in the same caldera on Honshu Island in Japan. So there's 3 there. That makes 8. In the Kuril Islands, let me show you on a map where these are. I realized I didn't have my map here. I'm going to show you where these are. This is Honshu Island in Japan. That's where those 3 volcanoes are in Japan. We also have tall volcano over here near Manila in the Philippines. Okay, so there's 6. 3 more makes 9 in Japan. 3 more makes 9 in Japan. Okay, there's Japan. 9 in Japan. Over in the Kuril Islands, these islands north of Japan and Kamchatka, Russia up here, we have a volcano called Ebico Volcano. Ebico Volcano is erupting. Ebico Volcano is erupting. Okay. In fact, I'm going to do something here. We also have another volcano in Kamchatka, Russia that has been erupting. And I want to see right now whether it's still erupting. It slowed down for a short time. It slowed down for a short time. I'm just checking. Hold on for just a minute with me. That one volcano is Kuchiro Abu Ejima. Kuchiro Abu Ejima is that one in Japan, along with Asosan and Sakurajima. And it erupted up to 4,000 feet today. Kluchevskoy volcano in Kamchatka, Russia, erupted up to 20,000 feet today. Kluchevskoy volcano in Kamchatka, Russia, erupted up to 20,000 feet today. Okay. We've also got a 4th volcano in Japan, and I forgot about this. It's called Tsunami. It erupted up to 6,000 feet. So we have 4 volcanoes in Japan. 2 in Italy, 3 in Indonesia. We have 4, well, we have 1 over in the Philippines now. So that makes 6. 4 in Japan, that makes 10. Ebico volcano in the Kuril Islands, and Kluchevskoy in Kamchatka, Russia. That makes 10. That makes 10. Over in the east, let's start over in southeast Mexico. Southeast Mexico, we have Popocatépetl. Okay, let's show you that. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot to show you Kamchatka, Russia. This is Kamchatka, Russia. We have a earthquake in the Kuril Islands I'll talk about in just a minute. We'll talk about those earthquakes in a minute. Okay, we should start actually in Alaska. Let's start in Alaska. Unalaska. Over in Unalaska, we have a volcano there. This volcano is called Sheeshalden volcano in Alaska. It is erupting as well. So over in the east, we have Sheeshalden volcano in Alaska that has erupted. We've got Popocatépetl. Sheeshalden volcano is down here in the southern tip of the Alaska Peninsula. The Alaska Peninsula. That's where she's holding this. Over in southern Mexico, southeast Mexico. Southeast Mexico, we've got Popocatépetl right up here. Popocatépetl. It's been erupting as well. 10 to 12,000 foot eruptions. Earlier this week, it was making 20,000 foot eruptions at Popocatépetl. I'm going to check real quick and find out the what it's done today. They've had volcanic emissions at Popocatépetl. Sakurajima, by the way, in Japan had a 6,000 foot eruption. All it says about Popocatépetl today is we have volcanic ash emissions. But it erupted big time earlier this week. Okay? Over in Guatemala. This is Guatemala. In Guatemala, we have Fuego volcano. Fuego volcano has been erupting. I'm going to pull it up to just see about the height and the danger of the volcano because I know it's been erupting. By the way, folks, I am over at the Volcanic Ash Advisory Center. For those of you that want to follow with me, the Volcanic Ash Advisory Center. And it is available on your smartphones. The Volcanic Ash Advisory Center. Not only will it show you volcanoes that are going off, it will also show you earthquakes. And it will keep you updated on the earthquakes. Fuego volcano, it just says that volcanic ash. Fuego, all it's had is volcanic ash. But we've had upwards of 3 volcanoes over in Guatemala area. Over in Guatemala area, we've had upwards of 3 volcanoes. We have Fuego volcano, Santiaguito volcano, and we have Pacaya, P-A-C-A-Y-A, Pacaya volcano. All 3 of them have been erupting. Only one of them, Fuego, is right now erupting with volcanic ash emissions and gas. Okay? Now, that's all in Central America. Let's go over to Ecuador. Let's go over to Ecuador. Over in northern Ecuador, we have 2 volcanoes going off. We have Reventador volcano, and we've got Sangay volcano, both of which have been erupting. So now we have 4 that are erupting, not to include Santiaguito and Pacaya, because they're not erupting today. They have been erupting. But now we've got 4 volcanoes there. We've got another one in Peru, in southern Peru. I want to take you there and show you where that is. I'm sorry, I was showing you part of Colombia before. This is Ecuador. Northern Ecuador, up here, northern Ecuador, is where Sangay and Reventador volcanoes are. Okay? South in Peru, the southern part of Peru. Where's my pen? The southern part of Peru down here. Southern Peru, we have another volcano. Sabancaya volcano in Peru has been erupting. So, with that said, we have Fuego, Popocatépetl, Sangay, Reventador, and Sabancaya. That's 5. Over in the west, we had 10, right? That's very lopsided, which means earthquakes over in Chile, Ecuador, Peru, and Colombia and Guatemala are going to light up very soon. All these volcanoes are going to light up pretty soon. At one time, we had Popocatépetl, Fuego, Santiaguito, Pacaya. Colombia also has a volcano called oh gosh, I can't remember the beginning of the name of the volcano. It's Ruiz. Last part of the name of the volcano in Colombia is Ruiz, R-U-I-Z. So we had 5 there. Sangay and Reventador in Ecuador is 6 and 7. Peru, Sabancaya and Ubinas volcano. That's 8 and 9. Over in Chile, we had, it's Nevado de Ruiz in Colombia. In Chile, we had Nevado de Chilean. And we had another one down there called, I think it was called Calama volcano there. And we had another volcano in Argentina that had been erupting. Any one of those volcanoes there, folks, could come back. Any one of those volcanoes could come back, and they have in the past. We also have 2 volcanoes over in Papua New Guinea that could also erupt and have. We have another 2 or 3 volcanoes in Indonesia that could erupt, including Krakatau. We've had as many as 17 volcanoes in the west and that many in the east. At one point in time, the total number of volcanoes erupting was 24. 24 volcanoes. And Doreen, you're saying don't forget about Yellowstone? They don't want to include that in Yellowstone. They don't want to include Yellowstone. If you did, we could include it. Sure, we could include it. It is erupting. It is erupting. Old Faithful erupts about every hour to hour and a half now. And we've also had another waterspout geyser that has gone off. And in December, right about Christmas time, it went off for the 48th time. The 48th time, setting a new all-time record for eruptions of that geyser. Okay? So technically, Yellowstone is always erupting, right? And it's not just Old Faithful and now I can't remember the name of that other geyser. That's wild. I was just going to tell you what it was. Anyway, there's other geysers in the Norris Geyser Basin that are erupting. The Beehive Geyser, for example. And that's just one of many. That's one of many. We have those other 7 volcanoes that have been steaming in the Cascade Range, starting with Shasta going north. Folks, Steamboat, that's it. Thank you, Lee. Steamboat Geyser in Yellowstone erupted 48 times last year, and it's expected to erupt again any day now. It's already erupted this year so far, this past week, and it's going to be going again. Yes, Steamboat Geyser, Dorothy. Steamboat Geyser. Doobie, I hope you have a good night. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Doobie has been with me since almost day one. I really love and appreciate that. I love and appreciate all of you. Tim, I talked about Dutch before. I've talked about Dutch last night. Dutch said yesterday in a final show, and this is the last time I'm going to mention it. The last time I'm going to mention it. And I like the man. I'm not going to say anything negative. But he has taken all of his videos down on Twitch and YouTube. He said he's not coming back, except if an emergency was going to happen. I respect that. And for that reason, we're not going to talk about Dutch anymore. Period. Nothing negative, nothing positive, nothing anything. I'm going to leave Dutch alone. I've invited him to my show. Not to put him down or anything, just to interview him and be part of the show. Barbara Logan, thank you for joining us. Barbara, you left me a question on my last broadcast. I will get back to you. I will check it, I promise. I always do. Yes, I know we get buffered every time we use that D word, and I'm sorry. Welcome, Barbara. We'd love to have you here. We love everybody here. Desert Star, thank you for coming in to see us tonight. Jenny says, check my mic. What are you guys hearing on my audio? Buffering? Christian, I would love to have him on my show. Bass Shadow, thank you. I appreciate that. Bass Shadow says, love you, Ron. Thank you. Everything else is fine to talk about, folks. Yeah, everything is fine until I talked about D. I'm sorry about that. Yes, I agree. It's rude to talk about somebody else. He was my friend. I've never talked to him in person. I've talked to him in chat. I would love to see him again. Pete is on the ground at Teal Volcano Evacuation Centers, standing by to help animals in the island itself when permitted. I would hope they would. There are people like myself that are trained in animal rescue in dangerous situations. Unfortunately, I don't think my health would allow me to go over there right now. I would love to do it. I would love to do it. Voices of the Erased didn't understand my story. I don't know which story you're talking about. Linda Hope says the crystal clear audio. Awesome. I love that. Moonlight Skier said, found you this week. Synchronicity, thank you for picking up the action and taking the baton after D. Yes, not a problem. The last time in last April when he said he wasn't going to be back, I begged him to stay, and I decided I was going to come on and fill in the gap. And now I have it. I have the whole shooting match to myself, which I'm sorry to say. But that's why I came on last April, and that's why I'm still here. After I first started, I was begged by people to continue, because I said I would be here to pick up the slack only. And people told me to continue, and I did. And I've been on every day since. And I will continue. Doobie, thank you, loud and clear. We love it. Killback, thank you for being here. I will continue to do whatever I can to bring you the latest information that I possibly can. I promised you that, and I will continue that promise. As long as I possibly can, until my dying breath, I'm going to be here. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. Okay, I want to briefly go over the earthquakes that have hit today. And I'm talking about the large earthquakes that have hit today. Over in Papua New Guinea, we've had a 5.2 magnitude earthquake in Papua New Guinea today. I've already told you about that earthquake, a moderate earthquake of 4.8 over in the south of Fiji Islands today. This is a new one, south of the Fiji Islands today. This earthquake of 4.8 had a depth of 203 miles. If you multiply 203 by 2.2 kilometers per mile, now that takes us up to almost 500 miles. Okay, we go over to the depth to magnitude conversion chart, written by Bella and Rebecca. The depth to magnitude conversion chart. That's not it, Ron. Depth to magnitude conversion chart. Okay, I didn't bring it up. I'm so sorry. I'm bringing it up right now. We go to the depth to magnitude conversion chart. I'm bringing it up. We're going to go to the depth of this earthquake, and we're going to show on this depth to magnitude conversion chart, starting tomorrow, you're going to be able to see this. Okay, we're going to be at approximately 500 kilometers beneath the surface of the Earth. So we're going to add a 1.01 to this earthquake. So from 4.8 to a 1.01 is going to take us to a 5.9 magnitude earthquake. A 5.9 magnitude earthquake, almost a 6. And for all intents and purposes, it could be a 6. So now we're expecting two 6.0 to 6.2 magnitude earthquakes within the next 72 hours to 7 days. Okay? Again, it could go east towards Chile, Easter Island, Argentina, which is sometimes what it does, or it could go west into Papua New Guinea. And because we had an earthquake today in Papua New Guinea, we have a fulcrum point, a midpoint between Papua New Guinea and Fiji. That midpoint is going to either be another 6.0 earthquake in Vanuatu or the Solomon Islands. We're going to have to wait to see what happens there. That's what deep earthquakes do. Again, we talked about this before. Deep earthquakes cause shallower, stronger earthquakes. So we're going to have to work on that. George, the soundtrack may be off again because we're using the E word, earthquake word. And we talked about deep earthquakes. They don't like us. After tonight, you're not going to have to put up with buffering, pixelating, or censoring any longer. Over on the Freedom Revolution Network, where we're going to be going. We've been talking about that. Anita says it's not buffering for her tonight. That's great. Okay. Yes, it's troubling that people that spread truth and warn others about emergencies have to worry about their own safety. I totally understand that. Yeah, buffering's getting a timeout. That's great. After tonight, you're not going to have to worry about buffering or anything else. And we will be talking about the Freedom Revolution Network in just a few minutes. Okay, other than down in the South Pacific and Indonesia, okay, we've had another earthquake. Actually, we've had a lot of earthquakes. I'm not going to talk about all these earthquakes down here in New Zealand. Okay, we're running out of time. I spent time talking to you about all the earthquakes in Cascadia and what was going to happen, because we need to be aware of what's happening. Okay, down here in Neuquén, Argentina. Neuquén, Argentina, we had a 5.3 magnitude earthquake today. A 5.3 magnitude earthquake. This earthquake hit 101 miles beneath the surface of the earth. We continue to see deep earthquakes. Now, while this is not a hugely deep earthquake, 101 miles should be talked about. That's 200 kilometers beneath the surface of the earth. So again, we'll go over to the depth to magnitude conversion chart, and let's look at approximately 200 kilometers. We're going to add a 4.1 magnitude to this quake. So a 5.3 quake is now going to turn into a 5.7, 5.8 magnitude earthquake as a result of this earthquake over in Argentina today. It's going to turn into a 5.8 earthquake. Okay? 5.7, 5.8 earthquake. That was a large earthquake today. Now we had other earthquakes that we want to briefly talk about that were not large. We had a 4.7 magnitude earthquake on the West Chile Rise off the coast of Chile. You see where that West Chile Rise is? It's on an earthquake fault in the Pacific Ocean. There's a lot of earthquake faults all over the Pacific. You can see them here is South and Central America. You see all these large earthquake faults. They're all over the place. Okay? Look at the earthquake faults around Indonesia. Indonesia and the Philippines. All these areas are subduction earthquakes. The plates are subducting under the South Pacific Plate. Okay? That's what's happening. We don't have any more large earthquakes to report anywhere in the world. This is Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. We've had moderate and small earthquakes throughout the Middle East and Europe today. Okay? Again, I don't have time to go into each individual quake like I usually do, but I want to show you that these earthquakes are there. They are small and moderate earthquakes. And because they're small and moderate earthquakes, these large earthquakes in the Pacific Ring of Fire that we've been talking about, this is the Pacific Ring of Fire going from the Aleutian Islands all the way down in here to New Zealand and Fiji in that area. The South Pacific. That is the Pacific Ring of Fire. Now, I have told you about earthquakes that have been happening all week long. I have mentioned the 8.0 magnitude earthquake up in Siberia, the one that was caused by HAARP. I'm not going to say that word because, again, we'll get buffered. But that's what happened. Okay. I also forgot to tell you about another quake at Nikolsky Island in Alaska. 44 miles northwest of Nikolsky Island in Alaska, there was a 5.0 magnitude earthquake. This is the Aleutian Island chain, folks. That's the Aleutian Island chain. That blue dot there, that is Nikolsky, where that 5.0 earthquake hit. Again, it's up in the Aleutian Island chain. Just south of there, we had a moderate 4.2. A moderate 4.2 earthquake hit there. We also had another 4.9, 5.0. Now I consider a 5.0 magnitude earthquake a large earthquake. Anything between 5.0 and 5.9 is considered large earthquake. A 4.9 here at Little Sitkin Island. This is Little Sitkin Island. I checked this earthquake earlier. This was indeed a 4.9 magnitude earthquake, but it could have been a 5.0 because I know what these agencies do. They downgrade the earthquakes. I did check it. It was a 4.9. There were 300 and some odd stations reporting, probably closer to 400. No, I did not go through all 400. I went through the majority of those and found that it was closer to 4.9, and I will accept that. I don't accept the 4.9 society, meaning the intentional downgrading of earthquakes by the agencies, because that's what usually happens. But those are the three earthquakes over in the Aleutian Island chain. Now, because of the 8.0 over in Siberia Saturday morning, we expect that 8.0 energy to go down here through the Aleutian Islands. Okay, let me show you. Siberia is up here. This is approximately where that earthquake hit, just north of the start of the Aleutian Islands, the Aleutian Island chain. Okay? We expect that 8.0 activity to come down here through the Kamchatka Peninsula and over through the Aleutian Islands. That's what we expect. Okay? When it gets through the Aleutian Islands, where do you think it's going to go? There's Alaska. You notice the Aleutian Island chain here? It goes up through and just south of Alaska itself. A lot of this earthquake energy, though, goes up through the Alaska Peninsula into Anchorage and up into the main part of Alaska. Okay? Now, fortunately for us, every one of these earthquakes today are small earthquakes. They're all small earthquakes. The northernmost earthquake today did not even get near the Arctic Circle. This is like the third or fourth day we haven't had an earthquake near the Arctic Circle. This earthquake today up there, up in the northern part of Alaska, hit at Coldfoot, Alaska. It was a minor earthquake, a 2.0 magnitude earthquake in Coldfoot, Alaska. Okay? That's what happened. Okay. I am going to let the Freedom Revolution Network go where it comes to radio coverage. I'm going to let it go so they can do another program tonight. To the audience at Freedom Revolution Network, you can still watch our video program. But the radio portion will stop right now. So please stay tuned on the radio. Thank you for joining us on the radio portion of the Freedom Revolution Network. We will talk to you soon, tomorrow. Okay?